Eating well is especially important if you have diabetes or are pre-diabetic. Registered dietitian Michelle Jaelin joins us with more. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you, Annette. So November is Diabetes Awareness Month, and diabetes actually affects 1 in 3 Canadians. So if it doesn't affect you, it might affect somebody you know. And I've got tips for prevention and management of diabetes for you today. So now, oftentimes when people find in the morning that they're not very hungry, that tends to be a lot of things I hear a lot as a dietitian. Well, I think it's really important for you to have breakfast in the morning, especially in diabetes management or in prevention, because you want to break the fast the night before. So usually if you're not hungry, I say go for a smoothie. And a smoothie is a great way to get your different macronutrients, so your carb, your protein, and your carbohydrates. And so here I've got a frozen banana, I've got other things in as well, spinach, I got some Greek yogurt, and then I'm adding something called Metavo. It's a freeze-dried avocado powder with a molecule known as ApoB, which was discovered actually by a team of research scientists at the University of Guelph. You'd have to eat a lot of avocados to get it from avocados. So this is a freeze-dried form. There's a packet here, it comes in a capsule, and you can learn more about that at metavo.com.
Okay, and why is that important for diabetics?
Why? Because we want to make sure we manage our blood sugar levels, right? So like we don't want it to be too high or too low. But sometimes too, you find that people, if you don't eat regular meals, it's going to make you very low, or for some reason it's going to be very high. So you want to make sure we balance things out. So when it comes to things like your next meal, like maybe your lunch, maybe 3 or 4 hours later, you want to make sure that you also balance your plate. Now, a balanced plate is pretty similar to a regular balance plate on the food guide, but something a little different is maybe about your carb. It's more important to actually balance it in diabetes. So half your plate here is vegetables, a quarter of your plate is carbs, and you have a whole grain pasta, high in fiber, great to help manage blood sugars, and protein I have here, chicken. Now the big difference in diabetes is that a potato, like whether it's a sweet potato or it's a regular potato, is considered a carbohydrate. Whole grains are a good way to go. They're a good way to replace that, in your regular carbohydrates when you eat it.
Okay, so potatoes and sweet potatoes aren't necessarily good for you if you have diabetes or are pre-diabetic?
It's not that they're not good. You want to watch how much you're having, though. It's about how much. So a sweet potato is better because it's a lower glycemic index, we call it, but it's still considered a carb, right? So, that's why whole grains are kind of a better choice because you got the fiber, and getting enough fiber is really important. Fiber is your friend, especially when it comes to preventing and managing diabetes, but even just for general digestive health as well.
Okay, we want to make sure before we go on to our next segment as well that, if you do, you want to make sure that you check with your doctor first, right?
Absolutely, and very important point too, before you make any changes to your diet or you try any new products, be sure to speak to your doctor before to make sure it's safe for you.
Okay, now we've got something in bowls, right?
Yeah, so people tend to get confused when it comes to bowls. They tend to say, well, a plate, is a bowl the same thing? Well, honestly, it's pretty much the same thing, and I will show you what I mean by that. So here in a bowl too, I've got the same thing. I got half of the plate is vegetables, a quarter of the plate is carbs. Here I have pot barley, which is it's less processed than pearl barley, and a lot of people don't really know how to cook barley, so there's more tips and recipe ideas at goodineverygrain.ca. But a quarter of your plate, your bowl, is also protein here. I use eggs. Your eggs are totally fine. They are affordable, they are nutritious, and they're easy to cook too. They make a great protein as well.
Okay, anything that you should stay away from when it comes to diabetes?
So when it comes to eating carbohydrates, so things like, rice and pasta, you want to watch how much you're having. So generally you say half a cup is a serving. So you can have it. You can totally have those things. Why potato isn't bad, but you want it to have maybe about this much. I'm making a fist to show you, this is considered like a serving. We don't want to have a whole plate of pasta. We don't want to have a whole thing of French fries. We want to watch how much we're having. And when it comes to vegetables, you can eat as many as you like because they don't affect your blood sugars at all.
Right, and that's good advice for everyone, actually. I know you gave me, many years ago, you gave me a little fridge magnet that has the proper sizes. And I look at it every day when I open up the fridge and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go through this. So it's great advice, and we've got more on your website as well. Michelle, lovely to speak with you again today.
Lovely to see you too, Annette.